Thanks to the invitation of Andre to present you something about us and also something about our contribution to super-resolution optical microscopy. Okay, so let's start. I will just now jump. Tell me if those slides are moving because I'm not really familiar with Google Share. Okay, so I named my presentation Sted in the Shoebox, namely because of the device we will loan in a couple of months to Andre's lab, where it will be available for your use for a couple of weeks. So did the slide change now?
Yes.
Please, could you give me a feedback?
Yes.
Okay, great. So technically, Aberor Instruments consists from two branches. Aberor Instruments, which is orange part, where I am from, where it's a team of microscopy builders, and Aberor Labels, the green part, where our fellow chemicians are cooking wonderful dyes for optical microscopy, namely for different kinds of optical super resolution confocal microscopy. So we are here already more than 10 years, and we have sold more than 400 sold and installed more than 400 microscopes worldwide, and more than 30 from those are MinFlux systems. So the company started in 2012 as a spin-off of Max Planck Institute of Biophysical Chemistry in Göttingen. And main reason for that was simply to push development of Sted microscopy on the market, because at that time there was only one company providing Sted microscopy systems, and our founders simply felt that the development is too slow. So since that, we grew up quite significantly, and now we are a team of more than 90 people. And true is that one of the reasons for this very fast growth was also Nobel Prize for super resolution microscopy, which was awarded in 2014 to Stefan Hell, Eric Betzig, and Murney. So this, of course, triggers a lot of interest in scientific community in these technologies. So this one of the results of this is that Aberor Instrument became one of the fastest growing technological non-IT company of Germany. So in 2021, we were the first one, actually. Yeah, we are hiring all the time new people. So if you love to build microscopy systems, and if you are really into high resolution imaging, feel free to contact our HR, because we are always searching for new bright people. Okay, so this is where we are located. We have our main headquarters in Göttingen. So this building in the left lower corner, this is the old building where I'm right now sitting, and currently we are in process of moving to the new building, which is much larger. Actually, we started in this laser laboratory in Göttingen in 3 rooms, and in a couple of years we changed to 3 floors, and now we need simply much bigger house, because we are building many more microscopes than at the beginning. Okay, one of the advantages of a relatively small team is that we have very fast development cycle. Pretty much every year or every half year we are launching something new. And in the microscopy part, the only thing we are doing are really super resolution microscopes based on Sted and MinFlux technology. So we have four main product lines. We have Steadicon, we have facility and infinity line systems, which are more dedicated for imaging facilities, and then we have our famous MinFlux. Well, if we look to parameters, simply Steadicon is meant as a introductory Sted system. It was designed in such a way to upgrade existing wide field microscope and turn them in a confocal and Sted microscope system. Facility and infinity line systems are really fully featured high resolution confocals / super resolution microscopes. Facility line system, it's more a closed box system where it's not expected that users will do heavy modification, whereas infinity line, it's exactly opposite. There is expected that users want to customize their system, and it gives a lot of freedom to users. And MinFlux currently holds world record in spatial resolution achieved by optical microscopy, we can really go with localization precision better than 2 nanometers. So we are really reaching resolution of electron microscopy systems. So life at the nanoscale, I guess you as scientists are meeting with that a lot of very often, pretty much on a daily basis. And the reason why it's important to study it, it's simply to understand all the biological machinery of nature and our bodies. And obviously, classical optical microscopy, it's struggling quite a lot with the resolution limit, because aberration limit, roughly half lambda, simply limits us to something like 200 or 250 nanometer resolution. Sted and structured illumination, or PALM, are bringing us effectively, let's say, to 40 nanometers. And with MinFlux, we are going down to 2 nanometers. So if we look to some real images, so here is a comparison of confocal versus Sted, so you can nicely see that substructures. And if you compare confocal and MinFlux, you can see really individual fluorophores mounted on our object of interest. So how that helps? So simply, it definitely resolves what confocal cannot resolve. Yeah, and even the raw data from Sted are providing much higher resolution than confocal, and this, of course, is very beneficial if you need to do structural analysis of your samples. Of course, it can be run in multicolor, in extreme scenario up to 8-color Sted microscopy, but this is of course pretty complicated just to stain your sample. So in most of the cases, users are using 2 or 3-color staining. You can use it for imaging of cells or tissues based on options you are using. And what is really nice about Sted microscopy is that it's really very fast to get your results, because without heavy post-processing, you are getting real-time imaging of your sample. With MinFlux, as I mentioned at the beginning, you are really reaching level of resolution comparable with electron microscopy. What is really unique is that it's using a very low amount of photon, technically 20 times less photons than classical palm storm systems. So this way you can either go much faster, or you can really go to much higher resolution. Okay, so how the technology works, and please feel free to ask questions and interrupt me. I really like to hear some feedback from you guys, because remember, there's no pity question. Yeah, so power of donuts. So how actually Sted microscopy works? So Sted microscopy is generally another variety of confocal microscopes. So we have their excitation laser, we have a detector, and we are focusing through our objectives to our object of interest. So we are again imaging fluorophores. We are exciting them with excitation laser. But what is new? We use Sted laser, which is in most of the cases near infrared laser, and we quench part of the fluorophores. That Sted laser has a structured spot. It's a ring of light. We call it donut shape laser spot, and we simply quench part of fluorophores, and we effectively end up with two emissions. We simply shift part of the emission to near infrared, and this way we are increasing the spatial resolution. What is really nice, it's dependent on how much power you are using. So simply, more power you use, the more resolution you are getting. And what is also very nice, it actually works from very low dosages. So you can use only a couple of % of your Sted laser output, and you already are doubling your resolution. So here are a couple of examples how it look like if you apply Sted radiation. So here, primary neural network. So you immediately can see some spectrin substructures. So here more in detail. Yeah, here Bruchpilot. Here Golgi. Yeah, here again those nucleopores. Okay, and here example of 3-color Sted imaging. Yeah, so simply even with the Steadicon nowadays with long stroke shift dyes, you can stain for stat imaging in 3 colors. Any questions so far? I just want to be sure that you hear me. Okay, let's go. Okay, so here more in detail what we are using for this 3-color fixed cell staining are star red, star orange, and star 460L. Those are dyes cooked by our colleagues from Aberior Dyes. Of course, we can stain also not only fixed cells but also living cells. So here's example of 3-color stat on living neurons. Yeah. So again, more in detail. So here, mitochondria labeling. Yeah, and regarding the system, we will loan you in a couple of weeks. So this is our Steadicon. This is how the demo system configuration will look like. It will be provided together with upright size microscope. So technically, this system can be combined with whatever system with empty camera port you have. But of course, you need to have several things. You have to have some kind of Z piezo, which can be either PFOC or Z stage. You have to care about laser safety, so to avoid damage of eyes, because remember that for this depletion we are using near infrared laser, which is relatively powerful. And you need to have also compatible objective, high resolution objective with good chromatic aberration, which usually it's 60 or 100x oil or water immersion objective. Can you please give me feedback that you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, great, super. Yeah, this is the thing I don't like about online presentation, because you never know if there is still somebody on the other side. Okay. So the system it's quite compact as you have seen, and basically it really uses just very little space of your lab. Yeah. As for laser, it's equipped with 4 excitation lasers and 1 depletion laser. So it's 405, 488, 560, 640 lasers for excitation and 775 for depletion, which effectively allows you to do 3, or with long stroke shift dye, 3-color stat imaging and 4-color confocal imaging. It's just a 2D stat system because it has just 2D stat donut. So it effectively allows you to achieve a resolution roughly 40 nanometers based on dyes. Of course, with star red you can go down to whatever 25 nanometers. With orange dyes it's something like 40, 45. And for detection, we are using avalanche photodiodes. Reason for this is that APDs have pretty high quantum efficiency in red region, where most interesting phenomena of stat microscopy happens. And what we are using gated detection and pulse excitation and pulse depletion. So this way we effectively avoid heavy photo bleaching. Of course, photo bleaching is a general problem of all optical microscopy. Instead, it's even more significant because we are using quite high amount of radiations. The stat laser output is roughly half watt. Yeah. So, for scanning, we are using quad scanner. So it's Steadicon, and basically all our systems are classical point scanners. System is equipped with motorized pinhole carousel with 12 positions. And you can do all the classical confocal microscopy functionalities plus stat visit. Our software is controlling the motorized stages of microscopes of different manufacturers, so you can do also classical tiling or imaging of larger areas. In case of Steadicon, we use something which is called easy Sted concept. So we are simply coupling all the lasers to optical fibers. And basically, there is very little need for alignments. So basically, once you install the system and check the alignments, once it's at working temperature, it's simply aligned by design. There are done only some preventive maintenance checks once a year, but other than that, the system does not need any alignment at all. Yeah, this is how the system will be equipped. So there will be one 100x oil immersion objective, and this is the sample holder. So it's dedicated for classical microscopy slides. The software, I would say exceptionally user-friendly. It's very simplified actually, and this allows even unexperienced users to use the system pretty rapidly. Usually, average PhD student or postdoc after 40 minutes training is capable to use it independently. So this will probably simplify your life, Andre. Okay. Here it's a video. So simply, usually at the beginning of your work, you do a discovery scan. So you simply do a tiling overview of your sample. Yeah. So simply, as I said, that system controls the motorized stage. So it directly remembers the coordinates. So you can later come to locations. You simply discover during this scan. Here on the left side, you see settings for the excitation power in confocal and in Sted. Here on the right side, you have acquisition settings, some basic functions like ZStack, region of interest Q, time series, etc. And once you want to come to some previous location, you can simply expand this overview window, and then have better overview, because that tiny window it's maybe a bit too small for basic work. Of course, thanks to Quad Scanner, you can freely rotate the field of view. There is automated tiling. So if you would use a larger area than your field of view, it automatically do a tiling. Yeah, here's example of that multi-position imaging. I think I can skip this video. And yeah, here acquisition of tiles. So simply with the tiling, you can really cover quite large areas. So here it's a maze kernel root image. So as you can see, this is really pretty large image. Yeah, here another example of relatively large region. Yeah. For stitching, you can use either Fiji or Huygens. Here it was done with Huygens, but obviously this is kind of normal. That Steadicon, it's equipped by something which is called Steady Focus. It's our autofocus module. In case of Steadicon, it's more a focus lock. So you find the focus manually, and then the system is keeping the focus. What we are using parallel beam paths to avoid crosstalks, because in the normal confocal microscopes, you usually use some 850 or 980 nanometer laser, which goes coaxially with your excitation beam. But obviously, if you consider the 775 depletion laser, this could cause a lot of crosstalks. So we need to use independent beam paths for the autofocus laser. And as you can see, it works quite well. Here's a quite long scan of some cytoskeletal reorganization. It was like 12 hours, and the system simply keeps in focus all the time. As I mentioned previously, we are using gated detection and pulse lasers for everything, and from that, it's very simple simply to extend the system also with a film card, and effectively get also also film imaging with the system. So this way you can of course also multiply number of your channels, because you can distinguish between your dyes not only based on their emission but also based on their lifetime. So technically, even with the Steadicon, if you apply film, you can quite easily go up to 4 or even 5 dyes. Of course, this is then opening another question of the staining, because yeah, obviously to have staining by 5 dyes, this is project of itself. Okay, here are a couple of examples regarding compatibilities. Basically, there is very little of limitation. We have installations with all major manufacturers, and not only upright microscope but also inverted ones. Actually, majority of systems we are selling are including inverted microscope bodies, namely Olympus IX83. But really, we have no preference. So simply, if your lab is equipped by Leica systems, we can put it also on Leica. Of course, every system has a bit different solution for the laser safety. Usually on upright microscopes, we are adding an interlock on the slider between binocular and the nose piece. So well, between camera and the binocular. On inverted microscopes, we are adding also some interlocks on the condenser and condenser arm. So this way we keep the system laser safe, because to have blind students running in your lab, that's not very good. Regarding sample preparation, so usually you have to use glass-based either battery dishes or cover slips, classically 1.5. We strongly do not recommend plastic substrate, because due to various reasons that might not work. You can either start to burn your plastics, or there can be some kind of autofluorescence. So glass. Try also to avoid gridded cover slips, because this may affect focus, because they could be some stray light or some reflections on those grooves. So again, grooved substrates not recommended very well. Okay, regarding dice combinations, we will, of course, for that loaner of the system, we will provide dice. So this is a general slide. So we are mentioning here also a green laser, but in case of Sted microscopy or that lone system, or that lone silicon, will be just 775. So basically, we are not the only manufacturers of the Sted dice. There are many more on the market actually available. Alexa, I will show here. Okay, so here those are more Steadicon dies. So steadable dies are this one here. So for fixed imaging, star red, star orange, absolutely brilliant. But you can very successfully use also ATO 633 or ATO 590. These works are also there. Alexa 594 also brilliant die for imaging with 560 laser. If you would like to try live cell imaging, of course, with that upright, that will be pretty challenging. But then let me know. We can provide you also with some live dies, and their dies based on silicon rhodamine, and or ATO 590 works also quite well. Obviously, there are also some long stock shift dies like star 460L or Live 60L, which are not written here, but yeah, here at another slide. So the resolution level with these long stock shift dies, it's on same par like with orange dies. Of course, if you would like to try 3-color staining, let me know. We will give you some protocols and some tip what to do. with some samples, it's okay also to consider maybe even a frame interleaf imaging. Depend really on quality of your staining. Anyways, regarding mounting media, we will provide it as well. Generally, we are using glycerol or movable based mounting media. We also provide with our dyes our Abiro mount solid and liquid. Generally, for 2D imaging, it's more this hardening emetic media, which are pressing the cover slip on your cells, keeping that nicely flat. Yeah, but for live cells, obviously, some glycerol-based embedding media are better because they preserve better the shape of your sample. What we also recommend for the mounting, we recommend media without DAPI, because a high concentration of DAPI could lead to crosstalks, thanks to the fact that DAPI has quite wide emission spectra, so they could be some crosstalks, especially in orange channel. So it's not like no DAPI, but just low concentrations. Yeah, because generally all the superresolution microscopy techniques are pretty sensitive to background levels, so it's good to keep the background on low level. Okay, so at our webpage you can find a lot of protocols. Feel free to ask me for specific, because we are a German company, so we tend to put very little things on web page. A lot of things are laying on tables and shelves. So tell us what you need. We will be happy to provide you with advices and our support. Okay, that was everything regarding Sted. And now tell me how we are regarding time, or if there are some questions from your side.
Thank you very much. I would have a question. I see. So it could be also the Steadicon on the inverted microscope. Will that demo machine we will have in January here also have the possibility of film?
No, this my system does not have a film card, so there will be no film option with that system available, unfortunately. I know it's recently quite fancy, and it's again kind of resurrection of film inside the scientific community, but unfortunately this system will not have it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now a big question. Are you interested to hear a bit more about MinFlux microscopy as well?
Yes.
Because I know that the original invitation was more towards Sted microscopy only, but I have here also a couple of slides regarding MinFlux. So if we still have time, I will try within half an hour to introduce you also more in detail how MinFlux works. Okay, so MinFlux, it's a single molecule localization technique. It's kind of crossover between Sted and PalmStorm, because what we are doing, we are using a donut shape laser beam again, like in Sted, but in case of Sted we are using that for quenching of fluorophores, whereas in case of MinFlux we are using this donut for excitation of fluorophores, or maybe better for triangulation of them. Because what we are doing, we are simply trying to find the intensity minima instead of maximum in case of PalmStorm. So simply we are using the donut, and we are triangulating the fluorophore position. And what we can also do, we can also increase the power of the excitation laser and close that volume. And we can do that also in 3D. Yeah. So of course, same as in case of PalmStorm, we need to control the fluorescence. So we are using blinking buffer, which is the challenging part of MinFlux. In case of Sted, it's classical immunostaining like for confocal. So there, the sample prep, it's relatively simple. You just need to mount enough fluorophores and then you are fine. Here, in case of MinFlux, you really need to fine tune the concentration of your blinking buffer to really have good control blinking of your fluorophore, and then you need to have good level of staining to have just enough for fluorophores, not too much, not too little. And then you are simply doing triangulations, and then you reconstruct the overall image. Thanks to the fact that we are searching not for intensity maxima like in Palm Storm, but for intensity minima, we're using much less photons. So we are also much faster. So whereas in case of Palm Storm, these measurements takes easily half an hour or even hour, here we are getting images in a couple of minutes. And also we have two modalities we can use MinFlux in two regimes for imaging and for tracking. Yeah, so here are a couple of examples of imaging. So here are classical nuclear pore complex samples. So comparison between confocal and MinFlux image. And of course, all of this can be done also in 3D. Oh, there should be also some video. Great, video doesn't work. Okay, so as I said, it can be done also in 3D. Here's example of mitochondria. Well, mitochondria survived. And here you can see also 3D visualization of that. So for the staining, we are using our dyes. This is a single color staining. So there's a Flux 647, which is equivalent of Alexa 647. But we have many more. Technically, you can do also two-color influx microscopy. We used one donut for the localization, and thanks to spectral unmixing, we simply distinguish between these dye pairs. Yeah, so here's example of that mitochondria in two colors. Yeah. So we stain there TON20 and metuphyline. And if you want to use more colors, then there is a bit different staining strategy. You can use DNA paint and simply exchange to fluorophores. So there's already a publication on 3-color MinFlux using DNA paint. So here are some cluttering coated vesicles, again in 3D. Yeah, so it's 2-color stained. And here are some stained peroxisomes. Yeah, so here is what you usually see at your confocal, and this is what you can see at MinFlux. So here another example of primal neural networks, so spectrin. So instead of stripes, you directly see all the fluorophores mounted in these areas. Yeah, so here photoreceptors of neuron. And of course, imaging is very nice, but nowadays, especially in Czech Republic, everywhere you can find decent electron microscopes, so probably you are not so impressed. But in my opinion, even more interesting is the tracking regime of the MinFlux, because it's much faster, it has much faster sampling rate than camera-based systems. So here's example of dye-labeled lipid molecule. So yeah, this was like less than 3 seconds, and we got more than 18,000 data points. Yeah, so simply you can get one data point every 100 microseconds. Yeah, and of course, if you want very high resolution, you need to do more triangulation. So then you drop a little bit your frequency, but still it's much faster than camera-based detection. So one of very recent publication is a tracking of kinesin, and this is quite old application did by many optical tweezer groups. But what was new here? He was used simply a tracking in, or he was studied tracking of the kinesin movement in a living cell, which was made for the first. So you can nicely recognize these 16 nanometer steps of kinesin. Yeah. So MinFlux, it's very new. First publication was 2017, and then we simply rented a patents from Max Planck Institute here in Göttingen, and in 2 years we simply rebuild it into a turnkey system. So you don't need to worry that it's a pile of mirrors on your table. It's a fully motorized system with auto alignment. So recently it's quite a hot topic in scientific community. So if you would be interested to see it live, I would be more than happy to invite you to some conferences we are bringing MinFlux, or to our headquarters in Göttingen, where you can see pretty much everything. Okay, that's all from my side. Any questions regarding MinFlux?
I would have one, because it's a super resolution, or it's really the edge of the possibilities physically, I think. You are detecting the dye, but it belongs to some staining, usually antibody or something, which means the dye is relatively far away from the target. How this is solved, or are there some protocols how to avoid this bias you can have?
This linkage error. Linkage error, it's of course very important topic, I think, for all super resolution techniques. You're right that in case of Sted, we are mostly using immunostaining, and as the resolution there, it's something like whatever 20-30 nanometers. The linkage error, it's probably not so critical, but in case of this 2 nanometer resolution of MinFlux, this is much more important topic. So for MinFlux, we are using a different labeling strategy. We are usually using nanobodies for labeling, or some tags instead of secondary antibodies. So this way we are simply using shorter linkers to decrease this linkage error. But you are still right, because the size of the dye, it's like 1 nanometer, and the resolution it's down to 2 nanometers. So there it is really important to consider also this linkage error inside your image. For sure.
Any other questions?
Okay, so if there are no questions, I strongly suggest you to contact Andrzej Szebesta and start to discuss your experiences if you are interested to try that system. And of course, we will provide some free dyes for you. Andrzej will know what dyes are available, so we can really provide the dyes directly for application. Because if somebody of you would need some consultation regarding sample preparation, feel free to contact Andrzej or me. I can organize some quick online training for you with our application team. We have more than 12 people in the application team, so there is always somebody who can give you some advices. And I'm looking forward to meet you in January in front of the system.
Okay, I thank Jan Wawra very much for his introduction of Sted and MinFlux, and I hope we will see nice results in January. Thank you very much.
Looking forward. Thank you, Andrzej, for organizing this. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.